that love for my man Dick James. We got him on the line right now, man. Welcome to Off the Cuff Radio,
Yep.
bro.
What's good, family? How y'all doing over here live on Off the Cuff Radio? I'm Dick James.
What's going on? What's going
Good
on
vibes,
with you, man? Definitely. Man, look, you just look. The song just elicits all types of enjoyable celebratoriness. Takes us back to the old Dave Chappelle, Rick James skit. It's a celebration.
It sounds like some old Dungeon Family type vibe, like something from the Goody Mob.
No doubt about it, bro. Appreciate that. We're highly influenced by the Dungeon Family. Not Goody Mob, not Outkast, but yeah, Rico, you know what I'm saying, Wade
Pat
and
Brown, Ray Murray, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's great to have you with us. Tell us a little bit about yourself and, your influences, how you got into the game, just everything, man.
Man, I'm going to do my best to sum it up. I'm a Mississippi boy, country boy, you know what I'm saying, with big city dreams. Born into the game pretty much, man. I saw myself on film, real film, about 15 years ago by my uncle, rest in peace, military veteran, used to do a lot of vintage filming of his family and documenting things. And so I saw myself on film, man, at the age of 2 with a guitar in my hand, and it really blew my mind because I could not remember back to the age of 2 until I saw that on film. And then probably at the age of 8, my second instrument was drums. And then at the age of 12, my grandmother, forced me to take piano lessons, man. And that's where my music influence came from. So it's been since I was in diapers, bro.
Definitely from the sandbox to symphonies, man. Look, I mean, talking about, piano and drums, you got a little bit of Max Roach, Buddy Rich. You got, the Billy Joel piano, man. It's like, the Liberace, all of that, man. I mean, it's like you were just born to do this.
Yeah, that's what it appears to me, because no matter what else I've done in life, music has always been a part of it. And so today we're able to be on, a live broadcast with you guys, and we can talk about it because it's like full service, full circle. All the work and all the time and all the effort, the blood, sweat, and the tears, it's showing up for me now,
And talk about Mississippi, man, because Mississippi has a unique scene in a lot of ways. Like, it comes from that soul.
Absolutely, historically, Mississippi's the struggle, the beginning of the struggle, you know what I'm saying? And historically, it has the power to really put the end to the struggle. So, a country boy with big city dreams, New York, big city of dreams, So, influenced by the East, and categorized by the West, everything west of the Mississippi River. It's like, man, growing up, knowing that in order for me to embark in a music or recording career, I had to go somewhere else other than Mississippi. I had to go to a major state, to a big city. And I knew that at a young age. So mentally, emotionally, and physically, Mississippi made me strong. It prepared me for the world. Because coming up in an environment where you don't have as much or as many resources as some of the high point states and cities do, it gives you a hunger drive. And you have to self-develop more than normal. And so I appreciate my journey, my struggle. because it helped shape me into the, individual that I am today. And I realized that it was never really about just me. It's about us. So that journey being from Mississippi and things of that nature, we're soul survivors, bro.
Absolutely. And when you think about it, Mississippi, man, it's definitely, the Delta blues, all that, and also, too, a lot of people got to think about it. There's one particular big boss by the name of Ross, who was born in Clarksville, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's why a lot of, yeah, man. But I mean, you got Tupelo, Biloxi, Jackson, shout out to to everybody out there, I mean, it's the 601, 56, and everybody out there, man. I mean, y'all be representing.
No doubt.
Of course, definitely can't forget about my man Boo Rossini. Shout out him in Jacksonville, and of course Snoop 11. Can't forget our guys out there, man.
BTC, baby, absolutely. No doubt about it.
Yeah, man, 11 artists. So we got connects out there, man. So we got to shout y'all out in every way for y'all keeping it real and thorough.
Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that acknowledgement. Absolutely. Definitely some great talent that came out of the SIP and going to continue to come out of here. And shout out to, the SEA, Southern Entertainment Awards Conference coming up in May in Biloxi, the casinos, May 19th through the 22nd. I'm nominated for the Internet Hustler of the Year, so we're going out there to get that win like that. It's going to be pretty big. Feel me?
Definitely. Now, when you think about your time on a musical journey, James, and when you look at what you went through getting there, what was it like in terms of really what was it like those years of, because obviously you had the grooming in terms of playing the instruments, but what was it like in terms of really developing your sound, really getting in the studio? What was it like in terms of understanding how to put it all together and your musical identity, culminating all of your influences into articulating your art?
Well, if we were able to, you could do like a video. I would give you a brief runaround into like my front room, man. It's filled of, art, man, of our urban influences and Latino influences and European influences, all the great people who have influenced us in a positive and powerful way, whether it's film, whether it's comedy, whether it's record industry or whatever the case it may be. I got like 50 portraits of them all on my front living room wall, man. It's like when I'm in my own space and a peace of mind, it's like I'm receiving information and I'm receiving guidance, direction, and energy from them, man, because it's like they're all looking at me at one time. And it's like they're all giving me their grace because, I was blessed to be born and raised and influenced by 3 generations of music. Or let's say years of music from like the late 70s when my mom's brothers and sisters used to play music at my grandmother's fish fries and car parties and bootleg parties and stuff that I didn't know that that's what was going on because I was too young to realize it at that age. But today it's clear to me. My grandmother's name was Bootlegger. She was one of the biggest bootleggers in my hometown in Mississippi, and she was well known throughout the Golden Triangle region. So, and then music of the late 80s, man, and then, hip-hop came in, and then my mother was a very instrumental gospel vocalist growing up, where she led the church every Sunday morning righteously for at least 35 years. So it's like, bro, I couldn't escape. Music, man, it's an escape for me too because, it's highly drug driven and Vice Lord gangsters, black gangsters. I grew up, as a Vice Lord, and music gave me the escape from it, man, because otherwise I don't see how I would have made it out. It was either in jail, dead, or disappoint my mother by being a kingpin, man. So music and the military gave me a way out, brother, at 17 years old. I took it, I ran with it, and I didn't look back.
Yeah, because
Definitely.
both of the genre, whatever you get into the military and whatever you do in music, it requires a whole lot of focus and discipline. And
exactly.
when you discipline and you master those traits, man, you can become a monster.
Appreciate that, bro. It's the first time that I actually heard someone say that to me as clear as that right there. So I'm just humble, in which I don't humble often. However, in this particular moment I am, because it's gratifying to hear someone I've never actually personally met to just give me some love genuinely and casually, bro. That feels great, man.
Well, I mean, one thing about it is this show right here, this is King's Baby, and this is what we always had a vision of doing in terms of really showing love and genuine respect, because we understand what it goes into in terms of your art, like you said, with your music and your military, the pedigree that you came from, it allowed for that regimen that allowed you to understand a strict adherence to the craft, and it gave you direction, especially when we know about how Mississippi how Mississippi get down, you know what I'm saying? Of course we take it back to the days with Crooked Letters, Kamikaze, and David Banner before David Banner went solo, so we're very familiar with the history out there from a lot of levels. And especially with you being Vice
man, I was going to cut you off, but not to mention, man, a lot of Snoop say he got a lot of Snoops out there.
Yes. Snoop, Dog Pound, Ray J, Brandy. You know what I'm saying? It's Ray Sherman right up the street from me, 45 minutes in Tupelo. And I got a party in Tupelo this Saturday coming up, man. So it's like, yeah, bro, it's historically, it's a lot of great people collectively that just don't get, the kudos like they probably would if the music industry was still down here. The gospel industry is still here because of, Malaco Records, but the hip-hop industry is just not down here. So until further notice, being great and coming out of Mississippi and being able to represent and be great examples, that's just going to have to suffice,
And I mean, that whole Gulf Coast. I mean, when you look at Muscle Shoals, when you look at Stax Records, Alabama, all of that, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
That Deep South, with Leonard Skinner, all of them would come through. I mean, that's, the history is rich because it really, really, really encompasses, it entails, it expresses that down-home kind of vibe. When you think about how it allows you to really, really give your vision on it, especially given your upbringing and things you went through, how did you transition from the street life? Because we're going to get into that about the Vice Lord thing in a minute, because we want to ask you about how a lot of artists out here claim to really be down on the street level, where real crews of that notoriety and not really understanding what entails. When did you realize this was something that you could do? What was the epiphany of you, like the eureka moment of, I got this energy and I'm going to spread it all over? Was it a song you wrote? Was it a writing session? Was it a creative recording session? What was it?
Man, I was like 14 years old, and it was a rap contest at the skating rink with Mississippi's most popular DJ Chocolate Drop. And he was from out of the Gulf Coast, but he did the skating rink in the Gulf Coast. He did it in Jackson. He did it in Hattiesburg. And he also did it down here in my hometown, Columbus and Starkville. Mississippi State. So he did like 6 cities every Saturday and Sunday night. And he did a $500 rap battle, man. And, you know, Mississippi is known for having families to move elsewhere because of the struggles. But then during the summer times, a lot of the kids or the grandkids would always come back down to their roots in the summertime and spend time with their cousins and their grandparents and things of that nature. So, you know, you had a lot of people that went to New York, Chicago, St. Louis, Boston, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and they were B-boys because they grew up in the city. So you would automatically think that because they had the look, man, they probably were going to be dope lyrically too. So I wasn't shaken by any of that, man. I just had a lot of confidence. Our parents and our family members, they just instilled it in us, so that was a blessing. And I entered that competition, and I outright won that competition, and we had grown men in that competition. So at that age, when I realized I was able to do that, that told me that apparently you have a talent when it comes to writing, skill, and music. Not even realizing that the piano lessons and all the stuff that I had probably been involved in prior had anything to do with that at that time. But today, I am for certain that all the things musically were a part of my development. I know piano lessons for sure allowed me to learn to play and to read music.
Man, look, when you talk about it, because, you know, we caught that SEC reference for the Bulldogs, Hail State, you know, about the days of Wayne Mackin, Jackie Sherrill, Jarius Norwood, Fred Smoot, you know, of course,
yes,
Rick Stansbury used to be a coach of the basketball team, Shane Power, Eric Dampier. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
We know what side of the Egg Bowl you're on. We know what side of the Egg Bowl
Absolutely.
you're on with that rivalry y'all got with Mississippi, with Ole Miss.
So you know what's also really ill about Mississippi too is the homecoming culture y'all have as well, like the black bands and all that.
Yes. That's the culture, bro. I mean, and it's coming back, especially with Deion Sanders coming out of Jackson State, man. That original culture has been revitalized because growing up, those were some of the main things that were featured attractions. And I just, my mind was just blessed to be advanced because Mississippi State, Jackson State, Southern Miss, Ole Miss, they were the highlights of growing up in Mississippi.
Yeah, we can't forget Mississippi Valley, of course, with Archie Gunslinger Cooley and Jerry Rice, of course.
All that, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, you know, if my mind wasn't advanced, that's probably what I would have done. I probably went up to Mississippi Valley State, or I would have went to Southern Miss because we did go to visit them during our junior and sophomore years in high school. And Southern Miss was a beautiful university, man. Jackson State.
Yeah, that's where Brett Favre went. Golden Eagles. Yeah, Golden Eagles.
Right.
Brett Favre went there. Yeah.
Yeah. And Jackson State was too wild for me because, you know, that was really gangster, man. You know, when LL Cool J and them came down for the concert, he got shot. His DJ got shot. He got robbed, man. So my mom didn't want me going to Jackson.
Whoa. I don't think we've ever heard this story.
Yeah, bro. And my mom didn't want me going to Jackson State, and that's really where I wanted to go because it had ethnicity from everywhere all across the globe, and it was like the most popular band, you know, the Jackson Boom.
Now, with Deion being at Jackson State, being a football coach now, how big do you think that is for black collegiate sports in terms of having a living legend, the greatest NFL cornerback ever? Yeah, I said it, and I dare somebody check me on it.
Absolutely.
How big was that for Deion to take that job with y'all? With y'all down in Mississippi being for the HBCU.
Man, Deion is basically the ambassador for that. And I'm sure he knew that when he took that position because there's no bigger celebrity endorsement than Deion Sanders. Anything and everything that came after him, he was the one that set that standard because of how he was able to do more than one sport and be great at both of them. And with him being
and then
down
Bo Jackson. And then Bo Jackson,
exactly.
definitely.
Bo Jackson came after Deion. You know what I'm saying? And Deion had a career. Bo didn't even get to have an entire career.
As a Raider fan, man, King and me being Raider fans, we just we just think what could have been.
Oh yeah,
that's the harsh reality.
I mean, the Raiders are still a dynasty. However, just believing, I don't like to use the term if, but if Bo Jackson would have been able to have at least a 5 to 10 year career,
you good? What about you?
Shit, the Raiders would have more Super Bowl rings than anybody today. People would be still trying to put up to them.
Yeah.
You guys are definitely up to date with your history, man. I'm impressed with you guys and all the information and stuff you know and you have about my Mississippi, man. I love that.
Man, look, we got love for everybody out there, man. We definitely, with this part of the show, what we do in terms of how we do it, we always want to show respect and love to our guests in terms of being respectful to them and where they come from. You know, this is one thing we pride ourselves on doing. Your history is a vice lord, because a lot of artists we see today are really trying to tie themselves up in gang activity, really not understanding. A lot of people don't know about the history in terms of where the Folk Nation, People Nation, you know, the 8-Ball Alliance, early 90s in Kansas City, where that all started. It's a heavy history. That's something we can't really talk about on the show in detail, but for those that know, they know. When you see a lot of artists out here trying to play that game on the street, man, what's your opinion of it in terms of where they try to mix the street with the music?
Man, you know, to be honest about it, they're lost, man. You know what I'm saying? And they really don't have proper direction. They don't have proper guidance, man, because it's like I did that because that's what I was influenced by. It was everywhere you turned in my community. Doesn't make any difference where you went, left or right. It was either that or Gangsta Disciple, because my brothers, you know, from my father's side, my first cousins, different territories. You know what I'm saying? It's like you were chosen. If you were some way beneficiary to whatever group there was, whether it was for girls or whether it was some sort of business tactics, washing cars, fish fries, hustle, whatever it was, man, you know, that was your pass key. And I did it because that's all there was. It was basically a protective state of nature because you had rivalries.
Mm-hmm.
We were born into those type of things. We didn't ask for it, but you had to have sex, man, because otherwise, you know, you probably wouldn't have been able to enjoy a life growing up as a young kid, man. Probably would have been taken under, whether it was through gang violence or drugs, man, or prison for selling drugs or killing somebody for having to protect yourself or protect your family, man. So the military saved me, man. That was my way out. My mom allowed me to sign up for the early entry program because I knew Mississippi didn't have enough opportunities for me, and I wasn't going to compete with my everyday brothers and sisters for an opportunity that was so few. So I fought with her for a few years, from like 15 to 17. She finally allowed me to do it because my elder brother went in and he was having success. So she allowed me to do it, man, and that took me away from the streets. And once I got in and got locked up with the military for at least 6 months period of time, it just allowed me some freedom to reflect. I wasn't with my everyday surroundings. I didn't have to look over my shoulder constantly. So I started realizing a lot of my actions, man, they had to be coming from, I wasn't even blaming my environment. I just started saying, dude, you crazy, man. You wild. You need to calm down. It's not the people around you because you're in places that are new. So a lot of the animosity that you may have had growing up, you no longer really have to deal with that because no one really knows you like that. You don't have to face those unnecessary challenges. The military took me to places and environments and allowed me to develop as a young man and grow and become responsible. And allowed me to shape my mind to realize that now I can do things for a single mother who was once being responsible for me. Now I am able to take care of myself so I can do something in return as a token of appreciation. So that's just really how I chop it up and look at it, because during our time and era, you knew who your sole caregivers were, and you knew what you did have versus what you didn't have. So there wasn't no second guessing. There wasn't no playing around or faking the funk. When you were given an order, you knew it was legit. So either you were about something or you was about that foolery. And today, I'm not sure exactly what happened to all of the people who were in place to keep the bridges together in between those gaps. But some of them got taken away. Some of them got locked away. Some of them got killed, murdered. And some of them got caught up in drugs and alcohol use and abuse, man. So we are the seeds of those people. You guys have a platform. You have a lot of knowledge. You have a lot of information. You guys are huger than you probably even realize because you have a powerful influence and voice, and you can touch people around the world that you will probably never encounter or embark on or ever meet physically, and still be able to impact them in a positive and motivational way, man.
Man, that means so much to us because one thing about it, and I will keep shamelessly plugging my brother. I came on. This is King. King started this 7 years ago because he had a vision and was disillusioned with a lot of the stuff he heard out there. And he just had a vision, and he's like, I can do something that is going to be insightful. It is going to be intelligent. It's going to be better than what I'm hearing now. And 5 years ago, they brought me on the team, and I'm blessed every day I'm able to do this, to be part of something. I mean, we've interviewed people that we grew up listening to. We've interviewed artists that we, never met like yourself, but enjoy the music. We love the movement. We support, your vision, and it's gratifying because one thing about it, we understand the responsibility we have, first as black men, and secondly as journalists. And that is what we want in terms of showing that buffoonery and coonery is not our complexion. Excellence and intelligence is our essence and our ethnicity. We are shaded in all things scholastic and academic. That's how we want to let those colors shine bright. And that's what we strive to do with every broadcast we do. When you think about it, Dick, in terms of you being in the military and things you got to see, and we see so many of our children trapped in the hood, and a lot of times, keeping it real, sometimes black people, we have a very narrow view of this sometimes falls into what we call this state of blackness that we try to define as, when the reality is our culture is varied, it is diverse, it is wonderfully eclectic. How important is it for our children to be able to express themselves, to see different things, to know that they are more than a situation that may limit them, but with the right outlet, they can become limitless and they can become infinite in whatever they aspire to be?
It's very, 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 very important. It's so vital that it opens their eyes. And when I mean their eyes, not the ones that they're visualizing through, but their, their third eye, their mindset through those camera lenses, which are their eyes, to the reality versus propaganda that's being forced and taught. Because we know seeing is believing. In most cases, when you see it, you can believe it, and you believe it, you can achieve it. And it allows them to question not only themselves, but the predecessors, the educators, the informers. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, you'll just be told something, you'll just be handed something, and you'll be expected to just accept it. So being able to see and experience and taste something other than your everyday normal environment, it's going to challenge you, and it's going to challenge your conscience and your subconscious. And eventually it's going to make you start paying attention to the silent whispers that are inside your head that you constantly hear on a regular basis, but because you're distracted and you haven't been taught to tap into your inner self and your higher self, that you tend to think that it's an illusion that's going on inside. When it's not, it's a battle, of your conscious and your subconscious. The yin and the yang, or what they call good versus evil.
Right.
That is the thing that we all have to learn as individuals who are successfully given what would be considered a normal life and the opportunity to grow and to live that life normally without physical, mental disabilities that came through birth or something by nature. Because not everybody's actually granted a full normal life. So for those of us who are blessed, able to accomplish that, it's for a reason. We've been given a duty and a responsibility. And we know that we're born into a world of sin, so we have to be educated and informed properly in order for us to be able to maneuver and to be able to elevate ourselves and the people around us that's bearing witness to us. Because we're all a sample. We're all an example. When we recognize it, realize it, acknowledge it, then we can apply it. Because the greater we are comes from the greater that we enable the people around us to become by being firm examples. And when
Absolutely.
we get the proper, when we receive the proper tools, it's almost inevitable for us to become that. Life is trial and tribulations, and the good, the bad, and the ugly, they come together. They don't come separate because we don't know the difference or the value between either of them without experiencing them all together. And so,
absolutely, yeah. Go ahead.
So I have learned to impress upon myself that we all have a good self and a bad self, and I like to call that self my twin. And so I use that as an example in third party because my twin went out there and my twin did all the foolery and the foolishness and the fuckery. And I was able to bear witness to it, what allowed me to stay out of that and to go into a different direction because my bad self went out there and it gave me an example of what I should not be doing. And if not for my evil twin, then I probably would have been the evil twin. So I'm thankful for my split personality that allowed me to look at myself in the mirror and see my true reflection and point me in the direction that I'm supposed to be going and align me with people who don't have a problem with holding one another accountable.
Like Razcast said in the Soul on Ice remix, the diameter of your knowledge is the circumference of your activity. And it's about having that awakening in your spirit to understand where you want to go in life, because everything will not be ideal in the situation that is presented in front of you. And I think a lot of people have to understand that. There's always a choice, and you're going to make the right one or the wrong one. And, I mean, not to beat a dead horse, you know, we look at a situation with what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock. You know, that was something that, on one hand of it, the emotional aspect of Will in terms of the understand where he was in a state of mind when he did it. But it's also about the action in terms of what you're thinking that leads up, the attitude and what you're thinking, the thought that leads up to the action. And once you allow yourself to get out of there in a certain place, because anybody can be mad, and anybody can have stuff already going on. You know, we won't delve into all the stuff that's been said ad nauseum about everything he's been through. But there is a point where you have to understand you're coming to a crossroads, and either you're going to deal with this head on in terms of what's been going on and come to grips with it, and, you know, or you're going to lash out because you have not come to grips with it, and it manifests itself. Exactly. You have not dealt with it. And what we saw with that situation was somebody who has not completely dealt with everything that has been going on. And that's not for me to judge that man or crucify that man. But he obviously, that slap wasn't about what Chris said. That was everything that had been building up over that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're not judging it because you bear witness to it.
Right.
And you have a right to speak on what you witnessed. Not like you smearing it or you saying anything that's not valid. It is the truth, because what we witness, it definitely is relatable to us in our personal lives as well.
Absolutely.
And everything you said applies to us. We are not, excused.
Yeah, it's a teachable moment within this. This is where it depends on who is bringing the dialogue about the situation. Now, if it's coming from us, you know it's going to be a teachable moment because there's lessons to be learned in this.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Going on for a minute, man. Hold on, but going on for a minute, man. The stage name, man. How'd you come up with the stage name?
That's a never escapable moment. And it's not, what the average mind would think, you know what I'm saying, because of the name itself. But, no, man, rest in peace to my elder brother, man. He was a great dude. He was a phenomenon athlete. And his name was Dick, Lester Dick. And, so they called me Lil Dick, man. And I didn't want to not keep the name so that it wouldn't look as though I didn't love my brother, and I still wanted to, honor him because I was everything that he was. I walked in his footsteps until I became my own person and identified with myself. And that's what I did. So instead of me just saying, hell, I'm not Dick anymore, I took our last name and added it and grew up and just removed the little, because no grown man can keep the name Lil Dick, you know what I'm saying, and not be able to escape, getting clowned, or, how can you really take that serious, you know what I'm saying? So I just became business with it, created the name, the company, and, that's what people have known me for at least 15, 20 years now, man, Dick James, so it's a blessing. It has nothing to do with sex or anything. Now, the name draws attention of the ladies, you know what I'm saying, so I do benefit from that. However, now, and he probably had that issue, because since he got the name originally, from a grandmama and them like that, they called him Dick, you know what I'm saying, so he probably had that issue with where the name came from and what's going on with this and that. But me, I really ain't had that issue.
Well, like they say, what's in a name? But the fact is, it's about continuing a legacy. How important is it to maintain your identity throughout this musical journey that you've been on in terms of who you are as a man, as an artist, and as an individual, just as a human?
That's what allows me to be who I am musically, because it's me. It's an expression of me and the various levels and growth of myself. So I wouldn't be able to participate in any situation without being able to do that. See, that's what the government taught me. It taught me how to develop and make the most out of your talents and your skills. And it also taught me that either you're going to learn how to hustle yourself, or you're going to have to accept the fact that someone else is going to hustle you.
Hustle and get hustled.
That's it. That's life itself. So when you learn yourself, you learn your ability, you apply yourself, and you tap in, you should benefit from it. There's no way around it. You and whoever it is you're responsible for. And you know, monkey see, monkey do. When you see something that's beautiful and it's working, it influences people.
Yeah.
Especially
and
your
it's
children.
all about, yeah, and that's how, I mean, one's immortality is achieved through their offspring. And you want to leave a good example in terms of what your name means, in terms of what your children follow in and whatnot.
Absolutely.
In terms of the musical journey you've been on, who have been the people you've been blessed to work with in the industry in terms of meeting and just really being able to interact and see how it really works?
Man, rest in peace to my uncle, Vernon Young. He was the lead singer of Bill Pickney and the God damn it, forgive me. It's right on the tip of my tongue, man. One of the greats, like the Temptation groups, man. Bill Pickney from out of Sumter, man. God damn, man. I hadn't mentioned that in any of the interviews, and it was weighing heavy on my mind. Vernon Young, lead singer of the original Drifters, man. Bill Pickney and the original Drifters. I did one of my first singles, man, in like 2002 with him, man, called I'm Dick James, I'm a Hustler. And then 2002, I met Arnold Taylor performing that song at a talent show with the Big DM and Hot 103.9 in Columbia, South Carolina. And we know Arnold Taylor is the CEO of SCMG Music Group today, currently #1 record label with the Baby, XYZ, and all that old different shit like that. And that's been my big brother and my mentor since 2002, man. You know, I pick up the phone, call, text. He takes my calls, still entertain each other after 20 years. And if I really just wanted to go a label route, that's the route I would be going. But it's not about me. I've had a great time in shining and learning, developing. But I love helping other people and empowering people. So with him becoming the CEO of the #1 label, to me, it just influenced me and told me what I need to do now is I have to start working and developing young talent, because he's a great guy and he's not going to do anything that'll, cause a negative in anyone's life. He's a type of individual that helps your life grow and become powerful and positive. So he wouldn't take advantage of artists, you know what I'm saying, and short them of their money and their earnings and stuff like that out of greed. So that's a trust factor right there. I know that his word is 100 and his work ethic is above the average. So I'm out here developing artists, and I'm looking to create a label situation in the future. You know what I mean? I'm just building the value. So when I do sit down at the table and talk to them, I'll have my numbers right, and the activity of what I've created and generated out here be able to match with the numbers, so it won't be no issue of me being able to get the budget that I request. Like,
right.
SCMG South down here in Mississippi, like Luda and Uncle Scarface.
Right.
Those are my goals.
That's important. And that's important because you got to show people in terms of the business aspect, not only do you have the business savvy, but that you've done the work it validates the business that has been conducted. Because people can say they did business, but the business may not always be correct. But when you have shown, but once you have shown that you have put in what you have to put in to really show that you are dedicated, that you are honorable, that you are knowledgeable, and above reproach in terms of your word is what it means in terms of actually being genuine, then it really, really facilitates a deeper relationship and a more respectful interaction in terms of what you were trying to accomplish. And I think that's paramount. A lot of artists need to understand that.
Absolutely.
Because the outcome you get, like they say, good business is not always what you deserve. Good business is what you can negotiate, and your reputation in business is what will help you negotiate.
Absolutely.
Oh, right there.
That's exactly what it is. What you say, bro?
I said, so yeah, I mean, that's what that it is. Yeah, man, I mean, but, you know, one thing about it, man, I mean, you know, is this is the type of dialogues we really enjoy because it doesn't always have to be about music. It's about life. It's about the people in it. It's about who influences you, the type of life you want to live, and the life that you want to leave and will lead and then leave behind for others. When you look at the gifts, when you look at the blessings, when you look at your sojourns, you know, when you look at everything that you have achieved, what you have aspired to and accomplished, what your aim is and your goal, as you still have the work going on, what are your sentiments in terms of just, you know, forging ahead, you know, cultivating greatness?
We still here. We're still developing. That's what I've learned. Every day is a moment that you can influence somebody, and you can also continue to grow and become better. And until then, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to get up off that lazy ass, and we're going to go out here, and we're going to be a great example, man. You know, blessed to be able to. So as long as I'm able, I'm definitely going to keep the mindset of being willing, you know. That's what it is, and I'm happy to have arrived there because it's a beautiful feeling, you know. It really is. And then don't get me wrong. It's not peaches and cream, but it's definitely rewarding, you know. And life is challenging, and if it doesn't challenge you, then you never are able to advance. That's the only way to be able to advance and to elevate is by being able to accept, you know, the challenges that life throws at you at any given time.
For real, man. And, you know, to talk about the music real quick, because, you know, we got 3 more minutes, man. Do you have any projects that you got in the works for 2022?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm remixing a couple records, man. Oh, hey, man, I'm remixing "Ready for the World," man. Melvin Riley, man. "Let Me Love You Down." I'm remixing that record, man. I'm also taking a shot at remixing the Dramatics, man. You know what I'm saying? Old pop record from the mid '80s, man. I Hear Your Secrets, you know, that you keep when you know, talking in your sleep. So you guys know the record, man. I'm gonna put my own spin on it, man. I'm taking it back to the, you know, to the origins, man. You know, they took our music and they popularized it, and so I'm taking our music back and I'm gonna repopularize it with my spin on it, man.
Man, look, when you said "I Hear the Secrets You Keep Talking in Your Street," that's like the Cars with Rick Ocasek and all that, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. So, yeah. I mean, so the his.
A big shout out to Angela Colby that will make this night happen. She's one of the hardest working folks in the game.
Yeah.
We had to big her up on that one.
Yeah. No doubt. She's a beautiful soul. Oh, yeah, man. And then shout out to Big Bub, man. Y'all remember Big Bub, the lead singer of the R&B Platinum Group today, man. He's featured on that record that I played, Love, Love, man. So I worked with him directly, man, from 2006, man, and like 2009, I was his personal assistant, man, with their independent label. You know what I'm saying? So I gained a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience, man. Just having that position right there alone, like, I got to do the Wendy Williams show, you know, when Charlamagne was on the Wendy Williams show, man. I got to do Double XL and all different types of things, man. Sister. So I learned a lot of PR work, man. I learned booking work, man. Actually, Lil Mo, you know, Superwoman, was their first independent solo artist that they signed to their label in 2007. So, man, I did booking for Lil Mo in the Carolinas, man. I brought first one to bring her down to the Carolinas during that time, man. So I just blessed, bro, to learn and be a part of a lot of different wonderful scenarios, man. And I'm here to just spread my wisdom and knowledge to any young or youth or mid or age or elder that's willing to participate and exchange the time and information and energy with me, bro.
Definitely. Dick, this has been a pleasure, man. Your wisdom, your considerateness, your friendship, we so appreciate this. You're welcome back anytime. Feel free to reach out to any of your industry connections, artists, whomever. Tell them we would love to have them on the show. And we're definitely going to keep building. And, yeah, man.
I got you, bro. You guys are very great. You're very articulate, you know what I'm saying? And you're very passionate, you know, very informative. So I appreciate it, man. This is a growth moment. I love making, you know, memories, man. So I appreciate you guys. And we'll definitely send some of that work your way, man. You guys got it.
No doubt, man. Appreciate the love.
Always, bro. One love. Y'all stay up.
Definitely.
I'm out.
Peace. On that note, King, take us out of here.
On that note, we up out of here. Catch us tomorrow night. Same time, same channel. Y'all know the business.
Yeah. Peace.